Hey there, it's Mindy. I started doing these YouTube videos. I don't know. I did a bunch a couple of years ago, and then I sort of fell off because I had other things going on. And then recently I started them up again, and I thought you'd get a kick out of this. I hired somebody to, look at the videos and give me some feedback and tell me if there's anything I should be doing or shouldn't be doing. And that person came back with some really good constructive criticism, some good ideas. But one of their ideas was that I needed to have like a subscribe button on each video, and that I needed to like every video be like, smash the subscribe button. I was like, no, no, I'm not doing that. This is not me. I'm not doing it. And if you have similar things advice that people give you, and it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel resonant. It doesn't feel in alignment with who you are. I really, really encourage you not to take that advice either. Now, that being said, it would be great if you subscribe to the channel, because then you could get these videos and they would, I hope, help you in your practice. At the same time, you can, of course, share it with friends and colleagues if you think that they would get good results from the videos. But there's going to be no smashing of any subscribe buttons. I wanted to talk, I bring up that story because I wanted to talk about something that's been coming up inside the Bodywork Project and the next level programs that I teach. And that is getting bad business advice from like rando people. I mean, in my example, I asked someone for their opinion, so that's a little bit different. But a couple people lately have been sharing these bizarre interactions that I was like, wait, what is happening here? And when I hear it more than once, I'm like, okay, this is a thing. This is something that we need to address. So if you have found yourself in a position where somebody is just randomly giving you advice about your business, and you don't agree with the advice, you don't want to take the advice, but you don't quite know what to say or how to handle it, that's what we're going to talk about today. So the example that I'll share with you, of course, is an anonymous example, but it's a student I'm working with. And she said that she was in her office building and came out into the hallway for something, and somebody else from the same office building, they met in the hallway. She said, hey, he said, oh, are you the massage therapist? And she said, yes, I am. And he said, I'm interested in getting a massage for my wife. How much do you charge? And she told him how much she charged and that she didn't accept tips. And he started going off, apparently, like, that's the stupidest decision that you could make. You're absolutely crazy. That's so irresponsible. You're being an irresponsible parent to your child by not accepting tips. And when she was sharing this with me, I was like, what the heck is happening? Like, this is, first of all, none of this dude's business. Second of all, like, why do you think you can just spew this random advice to somebody? So she handled it well, but she came to the group and she was like, oh, I didn't know what to do. I don't know how to handle something like this. So if something similar happens to you, first thing you want to do is ground and center yourself. Feel your feet beneath you, just like you do before a session. Don't panic. Don't think, just take a breath, center yourself, and then ask yourself, oh, is there any validity to this? Like, is this something that I need to pay attention to? So in my example earlier, when I asked for advice, which is a completely different situation, I got some good advice that I thought was valid, and then some advice that I was like, no, no, that doesn't resonate. I've thought it through. It's not in alignment with who I am or who I want to be. No, I'm not going to take that piece of advice. So maybe something that someone is saying to you, maybe there's a kernel of something that you could use in there. Once you have grounded yourself, asked, is there any validity to this? Then what do you actually say? Well, you could just ignore it. Like, you're being so irresponsible, blah, 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 blah. So does your wife want to come in for an appointment? I mean, you could just ignore it. Or you could say something very simple that I found to be very helpful, which is, thank you for your input. Do you think your wife wants to come in for an appointment, right? Thank you for your input. And if that stops the conversation in its tracks. Like, you're not being rude to them. You're not saying, who the hell are you to tell me what to do with my business, right? Which is what you might be thinking. Thank you for your input. and then go on to the next thing, go on to the next step. Remember, oh, I think another piece of this, I was going to say, another piece of this may be that our own energy is slightly porous. Maybe our own energy. I know when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. So I sort of went around the world with these like big eyes, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, that isn't what I said, but I think that's the energy that came across. And so I attracted people to me who had more opinions than I cared to hear. So think about that too, as you're going through your days. Like, what energy through my business am I putting out into the world? As you become more confident, as you are more aware of the wisdom and the skills in your hands, that confidence will start to exude from you, and that energy is going to be different. That energy will shift so that not every rando on the block is going to come up to you to give you unsolicited advice. In the meantime, as you're working to that, if that happens to you, just try a very simple thank you for your input and go on to the next thing. All right, that's it for today. If you would like to subscribe, would love to have you subscribe and share it with people who you think could use this information. Remember, we are not in competition with each other as body workers. We are all lifting one another up. And remember, if every person in the world who needed body work got body work, we'd need a whole bunch more practitioners. All right, have a great week, and I'll see you next time.